Hello, all. Thank you for joining us again on the Almost Brothers podcast. Hey, will you do us a favor? If this podcast has meant something to you and encouraged you, will you consider becoming a monthly supporter? You could do $3, $5, $8, or $10 a month. What this does is this helps financially support the podcast so that we can continue to put out content and help better serve you. So if you would, down in the show notes, you can click the link, support, and become a monthly member. We love you. New episode coming your way. Okay, well, let's talk it out. Y'all, you don't care?
I don't care.
Y'all too? Let's have a nice little brother-to-brother talk here.
Hug it out. Come on, give me some.
No. You'll squeeze me to death.
It could happen.
Or
Grizzly
lick
bar.
me.
Grizzly bar.
Do the
Okay, you got to tell the backstory. You can't be just, he's going to lick me. You can't just throw that out
Oh,
there.
yeah, right. I didn't
it.
think about that.
You did it. You tell the backstory. Because I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to think about it.
It's blocked out.
You wake up in the middle of the night with nightmares.
He's the reason I go to therapy.
He's got PSTD.
What?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, SMH.
Got a headache now.
Still love our intro music.
Thank you for joining the Almost Brothers.
I know, I do too. It's like, it still makes you want to dance.
It does. It does.
To this day, still makes you want to
It
dance.
doesn't take much to get me to dance, though.
That's true. That's true.
Got them moves like not Jagger.
Like the
know.
opposite of
Yeah.
Jagger. What's up? Well, here, wait a second.
What's up? I'm Zeke, and thank you for joining the Almost Brothers podcast.
That's right. Welcome to a brand new episode. It's been a little bit, but we are back yet again with a new episode in your faces or in your ears.
Something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So as always, I got Rich. How you doing?
I am fantastic, man.
Just fantastic.
Yeah.
Man, had a good lunch with Mama.
Yeah, it was good.
It was awesome.
Big old
Ty,
sandwich.
how's it going?
Saw, dude.
What's up, dude? We got to put that on here.
Yeah.
Boom.
Saw, dude.
So let's just start with how's life been?
It's been better, man. I think on the previous podcast we were talking about how, me and Jennifer were going through a separation. Well, God has restored my family, so she's back. We're working through our differences, through our problems, and communicating better. And so God has really lined that out for us.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on. Not the snaps. We do claps around here.
Do real
Snaps,
applause.
too. Right. Ty, how's life been?
It's been all right.
So you're going back into teaching? Is that what we're hearing? What's going on?
I don't know where you be getting your information.
I don't know where you're getting
But
your
it's not a
statistics.
credible source.
That's funny. Fake news. Fake news.
Yeah.
Yeah, fake news.
That's how's life been?
It's
Are
good.
y'all excited for fostering?
Yeah.
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 Well, you're just waiting on certificate, right? So it's done. Just waiting on certificate.
It's done. I think we have to send in a couple things of paperwork, but yeah, ultimately it's
Come on.
done. Dunzo.
Dunzo.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Waiting for the call of duty.
We have 3 of our foster kids adopted.
Right. Yeah. That's
Officially,
new. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a new thing. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just a lot of good stuff going on right now, man.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Heck yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
we are, so I'm down to preach at a youth rally, so I'm down in Malden and
I don't know where the button is
for
for
the claps.
Is there a button?
Yeah, there we go.
I was gonna say there's a button for a boo.
Oh, dang.
That's hurtful.
That's messed up.
Darn. Darn diddy darn.
Yeah.
Yep, so I got to come down and see y'all and hang out. Me and Bubby is in town, so
Yeah.
we're just
I miss
excited to
Jamie
be
and
here.
Zaylee.
Yeah. It's messed up.
The better
So do I, though. So, I mean,
the better half of the Simmons.
yeah, they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The
They're pretty awesome.
better half of the family.
Yeah. But yeah, just excited to be down, excited to be here next couple days and ready to roll. I'm ready for tonight, man.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be so good.
For sure.
Yeah.
Waiting for some lives to be changed.
That's
tonight.
right. Yep. But yeah, on this episode, we're just going to be talking about doubt and how it can creep in. You know, we hear, just don't doubt, but it's inevitably going to happen multiple times in our life, you know, and just
it's one of those things that Christians say, give it to God, don't doubt, it's okay.
Right.
Just
what do
pray
I do
about
with
it.
that?
Just pray about it.
Just pray through it. I
Yep.
mean, that's not helpful.
Yep. And it seems, at least in my life, once I start doubting, it like double. It gets worse. So it
it like
doubles.
opens doors to different things.
Yes.
Like, to different feelings and thoughts.
Yes.
Like just beyond doubt.
It just like piles on.
Yeah.
And which just makes it harder to get out of and makes it, just that much more of a burden on doubting, So I just kind of want to talk about how, like, ways that you can recognize it while it's happening, not have to wait till, now I'm just like bogged down, but recognize it as it's happening and things that you can do or things that maybe you have done to help get yourself over that. Because like I said, I think we've all struggled with that at one point or another, in our walk with Christ and just ourself. Like it is just a myriad of things, not just in our walk with Christ. It could be, in our job. Like, am I at the right place? Am I, and it just kind of, it piles on. So what are some of the ways that y'all maybe can recognize when that starts kind of coming on?
Well, when me and Jennifer were going through all that, when she wasn't there, I had doubts about everything. Like, I had doubts about my relationships. I had doubts about my job, where we're going to live, what we're going to do. Why is God doing this? Why is God allowing this? Satan had a foothold like you would not believe, man. It was crazy, but
Both feet.
That's right. But with my church family, that's what really turned it around for me was having people in my corner that really wanted the best for me, and solid, sound advice and of course prayer. Of course, prayer was a big part of it. God, please help me through whatever this is.
Right.
And you just need people in your corner. You need to surround yourself with people that want the best for you, even when the best for you doesn't look like you want it to.
Right.
You know
that's
what I mean?
Good. Yeah. Yeah, because that's one of the most important things is having those people in your corner and saying, no, man, you've got it. It's all good. You've got it. That help lift you out of that and say, hey, we're here with you in the midst of that.
And on top of that, being willing to talk through your doubt.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how many days I talked to him on the phone that it was days that you and Liv would just come over and hang out, even when he didn't want that to happen, or he may have just wanted to be alone. But y'all coming over really helped lift him out of that and really helped. Yeah. Oh, okay. Like it's all good. God's got a plan through this.
Yep.
So having that, and y'all probably just do it naturally and don't even think about it, but that's something that means so much to people, especially when you feel like you're just alone in it. So what are some of the things that you do to recognize?
Talk.
Yeah.
Talk. Really, that's I talk to Liv about when I was teaching and going through all that. She was the first person I talked to about it, and just talking, and not just doubt, but anything. It gets your thoughts out of your own mind.
Yeah,
and it almost like physically like tables your thoughts to where you're like, okay, what am I actually feeling? And you're able to really kind of pinpoint that when you're physically talking about that stuff.
Yeah. I know me and Pastor kind of talked about this a little bit. Like for me, when I know that kind of doubt is creeping in, I get in what me and Jimmy call a funk.
Right.
Like it every single time. Usually it starts with waking up just feeling off, and then just like not really knowing what it is or where it's coming from or what caused it, but just knowing like I just feel off today. I know that doubt's going to start creeping in one aspect of my life or another. So being able to notice that ahead of time, like, oh, I'm not feeling it today, instead of isolating, kind of like you said, is you talk with Liv. For me, it's just spend time with my wife.
Yeah.
Even spend time watching, like, put on a movie, do something to take my mind off of just how I'm feeling,
Right.
and just kind of turn my mind off and play a video game or do something to help lift me out of that.
That's how those things start to fester. You know, whether it be anger or doubt or whatever. When you focus too much on it and focus too much without talking, those things start to grow and they start to fester into things that really they're not true to how you feel, but they just develop into those things.
Yeah.
And you start thinking those things.
Right. Yeah. You start telling yourself that's true. Like, oh, no, maybe it is like this. Maybe they do think that. Maybe this. And it's, again, it just piles on.
It piles on. And then when you talk to someone about it, you get that kind of clarity of, this wasn't as big of a deal as I was making it to be.
Yeah.
It might be a big deal, but you might have made it into a bigger deal than what it actually was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of my doubt comes from my own insecurities too. Like, because it's easy for someone or my own mind to convince me that I'm not good enough for whatever it is that I'm doubting, because part of me feels like I'm not good enough,
Right.
to do whatever it is that I'm doing. But I noticed that the more I'm away from my word and away from my prayer life, when that starts suffering is when those funks happen more often and more severe. So got to try to stay there,
Right.
stay focused.
Yep. And I know one thing I'm wanting to start to, I can't remember what I was listening to. It was a podcast or something I was listening to. I want to start doing like daily gratitude walks, like just down the block of my house, because I think that is one way to stop that from creeping in, that doubt or maybe even depression, is just walk and talk to God about the things you're grateful for.
Right.
That right there will like start to ease a lot of that doubt that you may be having in yourself and your family and, your marriage and God and whatever it may be. Just being able to just be gracious for what you've gotten. It's like, all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I'm really blessed, and making that a priority to do that, to say, you know what, because I mean, we say we do, we're grateful, but we get up and we just kind of go about our day.
Right.
We start our day and go. I want to start doing that every day, either to wind down or to start the day. Just, hey, you know what, God, it's just me and you. We're going to talk. I just want to be grateful right now.
Just remind yourself of what God's done for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I'm the same way like you are. I talk myself into, crap, I'm failing in this.
Yep.
And then every aspect of my life now, I feel like I'm failing in.
Right.
If I didn't pray today, or I failed God today, maybe I'm a bad husband, maybe I'm a bad father, maybe I'm just a bad person altogether, and it just more and more, and you start doubting everything.
Right.
So
that's amazing how one doubt can lead to another doubt. It's like I'm doubting how I am as a husband, so now I'm doubting how I am as a father and how I am as a friend, and it snowballs. It's crazy how easily it can get out of hand.
Oh yeah. And we're our worst enemy sometimes. It's like the enemy just gets that in, puts that thought, and he don't have to do anything else, because we just pile on ourselves. And it's like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not even called to do this. Maybe I'm not even meant to do this. It's like
those seeds of thought are the easiest to grow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. They take root, and we water them. We're the ones just like keep going back to that. It's like, oh my goodness. And then we get to a place we don't even recognize ourselves anymore. Right. We don't want to do anything. We don't, because we just doubt everything that we've done, everything that we're doing. We just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So we just kind of give up and throw in the towel, like, no.
Yeah. I was watching that pastor I told you about, Dr. Ed Newton.
Yeah.
I literally watched one of his sermons 2 days ago. He put that into a physical analogy of, he had a physical garden they labeled as your mind, and then he had what do you have? Seed. He had seeds that he would sprinkle over the ground. And that was I think that was scripture, or no, that was, I can't remember exactly what that was. But then the water was the scripture, and that was, you gotta plant these seeds of kind of positive thoughts, and leave out the junk, and use that scripture to help water those.
Yeah, that's good.
And he did a really good job of just really putting that into a perspective that you can literally look at. Oh shoot.
Yeah.
That you can literally look at and understand that your thoughts are very powerful. But it's important that you have to take your thoughts captive, because a lot of times, from a lot of articles I've read, talk about how your thoughts, they're not really your own thoughts.
Yeah.
They're the thoughts of the things and the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Their thoughts are influenced.
Yeah.
So when you're being influenced by godly people and by scripture, you're gonna have good seeds.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. And you're just gonna overall think more positively about yourself, about others, about God when you're around just positive people.
Right.
Because you could be around Christians that are negative.
Right.
Or you could be around people that aren't Christians that are positive.
Right.
Even that's a good thing. Just being around people that love you, that you love, that just encourage you, but also it could be a detriment when you're like, okay, well, I'm going to hang out with my church family, even though they're kind of negative. That could also be a detriment to you, that brings you down, that now you're thinking negative, so yeah, we have to be very careful at who we directly connect with. Of course we want to be in people's lives, but who we directly connect with and allow influence on our life.
Well, it's I talked to you during all that when Jennifer left, and my entire life I never understood how somebody could get to a point in their life where they felt like there was no other solution but to end it.
Yeah.
Never have understood that until I walked through a darkness like that. And it wasn't just Jennifer leaving. It was a combination of that plus my own doubt, plus my own self-hatred, just piling onto that, like y'all are saying. And it's just, it gave me a new understanding for people that get to that low point, because if I had nobody to turn to,
Right.
what else would I have done?
Right.
What else would I have done besides to entertain those thoughts?
Yeah. And that's just the sad thing, is that a lot of people don't have anybody to turn to.
Yep.
They don't have, whether they kind of blocked them off and don't open up with them, or they just don't have them.
Right.
I can't imagine going through life without people that you could lean on.
Right.
I think especially couples, what happens is we call it couple cult, where it's husband, wife, and nobody else has any kind of influence on any kind of say. It's like, it's us two. And that's just not healthy.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you need somebody to lean on that you can get perspective outside of that marriage from.
Right.
So if you don't have people around you, I could not imagine how to clearly look at life without other people's perspective and say, hey man, this is what I'm going through. What do you think?
I led a little devotional for our youth, for the Black River youth last week. And one of the things I taught about was talking about friends in your inner circle and how you're going to have friends and different people in your life for different purposes.
Yeah.
Not one person is going to fill every purpose you need, and you're not going to be that person for anyone else too.
Yeah.
And that's not to say, I have this friend because he does this for me, and this friend because she does that. But I'm not the person that a lot of people come to for emotional support because that's just not me.
Yeah.
And I've realized that,
Because you're the Terminator and have no emotions.
essentially a robot.
Get down.
But you're when you do that, when you start doing the couple cult thing, you start giving, and this is a TikTok I kind of showed you the other day, kind of aligns with it. You're giving someone a purpose that they were never meant to fill.
Right.
Yeah.
As I was talking, I showed him a TikTok about how people with their jobs, this thing that they go to and do for 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week, it plays a big part in your life. But at some point, a lot of us, and I would dare to say all of us, at some point, try to get that to fill a purpose that it wasn't meant to fulfill.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, with ministry, because, we've talked before about how that can become overwhelming to the rest of your life, because ministry is important. Hands down, ministry is important, but it can't be everything.
Right.
Your first ministry is your family, is your home.
Yeah.
So if you're not good there, and that's one of the things, and I hate to keep bringing it back to, but that's just the darkness that I've went through lately. But when I was going through that, I didn't have anything to give anybody else.
Right.
Like I couldn't be there for my friends. I couldn't be there for ministry. I didn't have anything to give.
Yeah.
So that was even more important to have those people that could pour into me when I had nothing to pour out.
Right. That's good. Yeah, because unfortunately, a lot of people are only around you for what they can get from you.
Yep.
So as soon as you kind of start going through these places of doubt, what happens is they kind of scatter because, oh, okay, well, I can't get from them, so I'm kind of going to back away, and they don't want any part of you. But when you get people that really care about you, it's like, I have nothing to give y'all. It's like, yeah, we know. That's fine. That's what we're here to give to you. Like, we're here to help you, and that's such a great thing. Man, I was just reading about this. I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about how get you a group of friends that each one serves a different purpose. Okay, so you've got the one friend that's encouraging. You get the one friend that can tell you how it is even when it hurts. You get the one friend that is smarter than you, that you're learning from, and you kind of have different friends that roll in different lanes in your life so that you've got different perspectives of people that you can go to and get stuff from, and as well as be able to give stuff to. You're one of those friends too that you feel else. And also yeah. So it's like, oh, that is so good. Like, because we tend to, birds of a feather flock together. So we tend to have people around us that's just like us. So we're not growing and learning because they're just like us.
Right.
I want friends that, you want a yes man. You want a no man that's I don't know about that. You want people to check you when you need to be checked. You want people to encourage you when you need to be encouraged. You want people to have insight into stuff that you don't have insight into, so that you can be a well-rounded father, husband, wife, sister, brother, pastor, whatever it may be. Make sure you have those people around you to help lift that and to help stop that doubt when it starts, because doubt may start in a marriage, in a relationship. It will always funnels to your spiritual walk.
Sure.
If you start doubting my marriage, now I'm doubting myself. Now I'm doubting God. Now I'm doubting,
Absolutely.
It all funnels back into it. So to be able to stop that doubt as it's happening, it's such a huge thing, because it's not a detriment to your spiritual walk. You're learning from it. Right. You're learning from that doubt. It's like when Peter stepped on the water. It wasn't the doubt in Jesus that made him sink. It was the doubt in himself.
Right.
It was the doubt in, I'm out in this storm. You see Jesus, he's walking on water. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's clearly good to go.
That's Jesus.
Right.
Surely I can't.
Right. So once he's seen the storm that was around him, now he starts doubting, oh no. He's not doubting Jesus, because if he was doubting Jesus, he wouldn't reach up and call out to him and say, help, I'm sinking.
He'd have never got out of the boat in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the doubt in himself that he begins to sink.
Right.
But what happens is, as we begin to sink, then we start doubting God altogether and saying, oh, God, why is this happening? Oh, are you even there? Am I even what I'm, doing what I'm supposed to be doing? So it's a tough thing, man, because it becomes a mental warfare.
Right.
That I think we isolate from people, and a lot of people are dealing with it a lot more than they want to admit.
Oh, without a doubt. People have a hard time admitting anytime they're going through anything.
Yeah.
And that's what, Tyler was talking about, the emotional stuff. I don't know that I've ever talked to Tyler ever about anything emotional that he's been going. I know he goes through stuff.
Yeah.
But he doesn't reach out to people.
Yeah.
To help him through that. And he may reach out to you. I mean, I talk to Mike every day.
Yeah.
But I don't talk to Tyler every day. But the time that me and Tyler have is so important to me.
Yeah.
But it's just not every day.
Right.
It's just a different role. But if you don't have somebody you reach to, Tyler, you need to do so.
I usually try to get in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said,
make him open up.
Yeah, that's usually.
And Andrew's.
Yeah.
I hope y'all meet him one day.
Yeah.
But he's that guy for me.
Yeah.
He lives in Florida, right?
Yeah. He's been that guy since 2015.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
And that's good. Yeah. Cause you just having a well-rounded group that you can go to and get stuff from is so healthy. And I think that a lot of leaders, especially, get scared about that. Get real touchy with that. Well, no, you need to come to me. You need to come to me. That's not healthy.
No.
I've heard pastors say that.
Yeah, that's not like, hey, I'm going and I was talking to so and so, or maybe you go to counseling, whatever it may. Well, no, you need to be coming to no,
Right.
you know, like, yes, do they need to come to you with some things? Absolutely, but with every single thing going, no,
Right.
because that's not a multitude of there's wisdom in a multitude of counselors. Not there's wisdom in going to just your pastor.
Yeah.
That's not.
And there's nothing wrong with just some personalities just clash against each other.
Yeah.
Like, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with, with just saying, your personality is not bad, but it's just not something that, kind of resonates with me.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I don't talk to Tyler every day. There's 20 years between me and Tyler.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot to talk about. there's just not a lot of things that we understand about each other, and that's fine. It's just a fact, that like what you said, you can't have that deep relationship with every single person in your life. You don't have time for it.
Right.
I mean, it's just not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like I was saying, every person in your life has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point in trying to find one person to fill every single purpose.
And it's good to find that person that could fill multiple roles.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Be able to lean on them for a majority of things, but also, just try to connect with multiple people and get plugged into other people, because like we said, you are that person for somebody also. Right. Not only do you need that person, you're that person for somebody else. I know that's what's so good about like just being with Pastor Randy, like me and him just kind of being together every day, is he's one that is kind of that well-rounded, I could go to him with emotional stuff and spiritual stuff and life stuff and financial stuff and kind of throw things off of them. But there's also things I talk to Richard about. There's things I talk to Tyler about. There's things I talk with my mom about. There's things I talk with my dad about.
And it's in kind of like he's saying how he's kind of multifaceted like that.
Yeah.
That's not saying there's anything wrong with him that the stuff that you talk to me or talk to Richard that you can't talk to. It's just you prefer that. There's nothing wrong with preferring who you feel comfortable talking about certain things with.
Right. And it's like, and it's just also like the time. Like me and Richard have been friends for a big period of time. Then me and Tyler has been friends for a good period of time. Pastor's been my pastor for a long, long time.
Right.
So it's like that time difference also has a lot to do with it, because when someone walks through life with you, it's a whole lot different.
Those relationships take time. Kind of like what I was just saying. Andrew's kind of that guy that I talk more emotional things about with. I've known him for 10 going on 10 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. So he knows
he's
that side of you a lot more.
He knows. He's seen the best and the worst.
Yeah.
And me and he's been there.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
He's been there.
Oh yeah.
He's been there.
Well, that's why like I'll go to dad with stuff that I just can't talk to mom about.
Right.
I just can't get good advice from mom that I can from dad. Same with stuff that I talk to mom. I can't get that with dad. I can't. He can't be serious enough for 5 seconds to actually talk to me about stuff. And same with our wives. There's things that I would never talk about with anybody else other than her. But there's also things that I would never talk to her about.
Right.
That maybe I'm struggling with, or maybe I'm going through like emotions that I'm dealing with, that I would never go to her because I never want to burden her with that. So I will go to pastor. I'll go to one of y'all and say, hey, maybe I'm dealing with this, or I just woke up today and like, man, this is, or I feel like I'm struggling in this area that I don't want, you want to be the strongest you can for your wife. Of course there's things you're going to open up to her about, but you just try to hold your own and do the best you can, even if you're struggling. But I think it's when you get to that point of not wanting to open up to anybody, that's when it's like a problem.
It's scary.
I love the men's meeting last night. We went to just talking about guys opening up, and their wives like wrote a couple wives wrote letters about their husband, thanking the man church or whatever they call it. Like just saying, hey, thank you. I've seen a change in my husband. And this is, I know he's dealing with stuff that he could talk about with y'all that he can't talk about with me. That's such a beautiful thing.
And wives need to understand that.
Yeah.
That there are things that that just simply cannot be talked about within a marriage.
Right.
And there's a multitude of reasons as to why, but that level of understanding has to be there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And that just shows faith in yourself that, cool. I want you to have somebody else to go and talk to. I would question somebody and say, no, you need to just talk to me about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's a tough thing to kind of come to grips with when it's your significant other. You're supposed to be their quote unquote everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about this. So I never want, and I don't think that's healthy. I never want Jamie to depend so much on me that she can't live without me.
Right.
I want her to be able to stand on her own and be able to say, I can do this on my own.
She don't need no man.
But I want to be with you. Don't need no man.
Don't need no man.
But I want to be with you. That's what makes the healthiest relationships. And when two individuals know that I can stand on my own, but I want to be with you.
Right.
That way you're not so dependent. You see people that they get divorced or their spouse may pass and they just cannot go on with life.
Right.
Because all their identity was in that other person. So when they leave, now that doubt begins to creep in. They go, who am I without them? What can I even go about this? And I never want that. We don't know what the future holds.
Right.
I want Jamie's everything to be God.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm a side dish, not even a side dish. I'm a, I'm a,
he's dessert.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Right. But
I'm gonna pretend and act like I don't.
But I want her to know that all she needs is God.
Right.
I'm just
Extra.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like
Bonus.
because that way, God forbid, something happens to me. I know she's going to be okay. I know she's not going to completely fall apart. Hopefully, for a little bit, but not completely fall apart without me because she knows that I'm not her foundation. God is.
Well, we know that if something happens to you, it's going to be Jamie that did it. So
that's true.
She watches all them crime shows.
Oh, man, she knows how to get away
People
with
will be
it.
going up to her. Are you all right? I'm fine.
Yeah, right.
I'm good. Don't look in the
oh,
backyard. But,
Boo!
You gotta worry
I'm
about
so
him. That's what you
sad.
gotta worry about.
don't worry about that fresh mound in the backyard. But I'm good.
Right.
I don't-
I just planted a garden. Right.
Man, Michael gonna be pushing daisies.
Man, I miss her.
Oh, wow. We didn't mean for her killing you to make you miss her, you weirdo.
Yeah, let's get back on. Kind of like you're talking about how you don't want you don't want Jamie to be completely dependent on you and have her identity in you. I feel like a lot of us have placed our identities in different things. Like with me, one thing I've been struggling with is my identity with music.
Yeah.
Because I'm always thinking, why am I not here doing this with music? Why am I not working with them and doing music? And I've really had to put it in perspective. And that I'm going back to that TikTok that I showed you where the dude was like, we put a lot of pressure on our jobs to fill this purpose. Kind of like me, I put a lot of pressure on music to fill this purpose. And I'm like kind of slowly come to grips with really that's not my purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a gift I've been given to fulfill a purpose, but it's not my purpose. And that's something that it's something I've been wrestling with for a while. It's just understanding that I'm not music. My gift to music is not me.
Right.
Well,
You're not called to music. You're called to Christ.
Yeah.
Music is a part of that, but it is not the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people misunderstand their calling. And
Yeah.
maybe that'll be next episode. But
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
that's a very
'Cause that-
common thing.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pressure on that too. I'm called to do this. Did you forget who you're doing it for?
Right.
Right.
Well, that's why we see 75-year-old pastors.
Yeah.
They don't know how to do life outside of pastoring. That is their complete identity. Well, I've done it for so long, or it's all I've known. Well, then that's a problem. You're putting all of your foundation in pastoring and not in Christ.
Right.
And they don't know how to let go. They don't know how to raise up the next generation. They don't know how to do that because that's all they've known. That's who they are. That's it. So it's like that is so unhealthy,
Right.
and it's so, I don't know if this is the right word, but I'm using it, antithetical to what you're called to do. You're called to be with Christ.
Because at some point you're making what you're doing your idol.
Yes.
Instead of
yes,
God.
that's good. Yes.
Because I remember I was talking to this pastor at this church. I don't even remember what state. And he was asking, like, let's say, you're a worship pastor and you're a musician. Let's say you lost both your hands.
Yeah.
What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
And it took me a second, and I said something like, I was like, I'm probably not in that place, but in that situation, I need to be in a place where I can say, I can't do this anymore, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it can be taken in an instant. Your ability to do that thing you feel called to do can be taken in an instant. Are you still going to chase God? Are you still going to run after him? Right. Or are you going to go, I guess that's over?
And I think we need to be careful about it too, because God will test that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You will have no other gods before me, period.
Right. Even if you call it a calling.
Right.
It's still
If
before
you say, well,
me.
this is what I called to do. Well, you're putting that before God. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that in itself can, when that gets taken away and that happens, that's when, if you're not right, if you don't have your foundation right, that doubt will be crippling.
Yeah.
Now what?
Right.
Yeah.
Now
guy,
what do I do?
This guy was saying, your job, your calling, whatever,
Yeah.
is not your purpose.
Yeah.
It is something that is to help you carry out
Right.
your calling,
Yeah.
which is for Christ.
Well, and that's where I was when I got hurt and left the factory.
We're not going to name which factory.
It was almost
Voldemort.
it was almost an identity crisis.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking I had to go to work. Like it was just such a routine, and it was such a part of who I was. I did it for 13 years. So it was like, well, who am I now when it comes to like the workplace? Like, this is what I've done for my entire adult life. Like, now what? Even when I got hurt and I called Jamie, she's like, well, what are we going to do? Luckily, she was ready to go. Like, no, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. But if it wasn't for me knowing, okay, this is a part of me, but it's not all of me.
Right.
Now we're going to move forward. We're going to close the book on that chapter. We're going to go to the next. Okay, cool. Turn the page on that chapter, not close the book. Oh, sorry, whatever. But knowing that, no, my identity is in Christ. I am a dad. I am a husband. I am so much more than a factory worker, than a 4-digit number. That in itself is what helped me propel forward into where I'm at now.
Yeah.
That could have been such a crippling thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, now crippling, no pun intended, with my back hurting. But it's like, it could have been just a thing that absolutely tore me apart. I could have fell into alcoholism again.
Right.
I mean, I could have just, had a huge problem.
Sure.
But
And I think we kind of hold fast to the fact that God will turn anything for his good.
yeah,
If we put our trust in him and really put our trust in him. That's a hard thing to really understand how to do and what that means. But the Bible tells us what the enemy makes for evil, God turns for good.
yeah,
Whatever we do could be for the evil of the world. But if we solely focus on following God and trusting him, whatever we've done, he'll turn it around.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
and I think Mike nailed it a while ago, is having that foundation, because that's the definition of the word foundation. That's
Yeah.
where it starts.
Yeah.
That's where it has to. If you do not have a firm foundation in Christ, nothing else matters. I mean, it's going to be, nothing you do will ever succeed if that's not your foundation. Period.
Christ is my friend.
I knew that's what you were thinking. So
There's that music again.
So moving into our next segment, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yep.
What do y'all have going on in your life? Movies, video games, music, whatever it may be. What do you have going on in your
There's
life?
a lot.
Oh, there's a lot, really? Yeah. We were kind of talking last night about some of the, some of
music,
the TV shows y'all watching.
I discovered personally
Uh-oh.
a new Christian rock band called Wolves at the Gate.
Yes, they are good.
They are good.
They
I've
are.
heard of them. I
They're
need to check them out.
They're pretty good. And when it comes to Christian music, rock, whatever, contemporary, I try to be I guess prudent, I guess is the word.
Yeah.
Diligent about listening to people who are their theology is is on point, and their what they write about and sing about is on point. And one of the things that I read in an interview that they did, they were like, well, what's the name Wolves at the Gate? Like, what does that mean? And I think it was the late singer. He was like, well, that's not us. That is bringing to light what the Bible tells us to be wary of.
Yeah.
Wolves at the gate.
Right.
And he's like, our band's not a band. Our band is a ministry. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
That's cool.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that
Oh,
is-
okay.
Are they kind of like a disciple type
They
music?
are.
Or?
How would I? They're.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember. Like I know Disciple. I'm trying to remember a song that I know by them, but I can't remember.
Skillet. Okay, let's go.
They're
Skillet.
close.
Okay. Yeah.
They're close.
I got
I'd say they're a little more metalcore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So closer to Disciple than Skillet, really.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they're like I showed them to Liv, and Liv's like, oh, I've had this song on repeat.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah.
I'll check them out.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're good. Yep. Rich, what about you? What do you got?
I've got a couple things. So we've been watching this show called Fire Country.
Yeah, okay.
It's about people that fight wildfires and
Ooh.
whatever. I can't remember where it was.
It's like a reality,
No, it's a.
Or is
it's
it-
a.
like a drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a drama, but it's a really good show. We've only gotten a few episodes in, but it's really good. And the lead actor, I don't know him, but he's amazing. But and then we are going to start watching. It's an old show, and I know y'all know what it is, but
Bonanza.
Oh, wow. You went back.
Mash.
Whoa.
I love when he assumes my age is like
Gosh.
Smokey and the
prehistoric.
Right.
This is why I don't talk to Tyler. So anyway, Zane, he's our builder, right? Our son. He can build anything. So there's this show called BattleBots. Y'all remember it?
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
No.
They build.
Really?
You don't
You
remember?
don't know BattleBots?
They build their robots and they fight them in the arena.
I mean, I know like the concept. I've just never seen the show.
Okay, so anyway, there's 7 seasons and it's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So I follow them on TikTok because they've got TikToks of like old footage and stuff. But I thought that Zane would absolutely go bonkers for this show, so we're gonna start watching that.
That's cool. Heck yeah.
What you
man.
got?
I missed Star Wars last night
Nobody
for
cares.
Star Wars Day. I was going to go watch that at AMC, but I didn't get back in time to watch that.
Gosh, Michael.
Jamie finally caught up on Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, yeah. You said
she caught
was
up
gonna
on that.
start,
It was really good. Yeah, so we finished that, waiting on the next season.
just not a fan.
Oh,
man.
it's so good.
Maybe I need to give it another shot.
Yeah, which we're waiting on. So the last season, season 5, is about to come out.
Would you say
before
the
too
first
long, so-
season wasn't great?
No, but I'd say the first half of the first season wasn't
Okay.
great. It takes.
So finish season 1.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it takes, and they get better. They get better and better.
Yeah.
Like every season is better than the last,
Right.
for sure.
I got
hope
you.
so.
Yeah,
I'd hope
I
that's the
will
case for your
put,
show.
and I've argued with this, of course, but I will put season 4 of Stranger Things, just that season alone, up against any season of any TV show I've ever seen,
Including One
Last
Tree
season.
Hill.
including
One
One
Tree
Tree
Hill.
Hill, as well, like one season yes, that is the
tough.
best season of TV I've ever seen.
That's tough.
That's pretty good.
It is fantastic, and I thought that when I first watched it, and then as Jamie watched it, last week and the week before, I absolutely
And
will.
that's what there's 4 seasons, right?
Yeah,
Until
right now,
they
and then
come out
5
with a
they're
new one.
working on. Yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
We've been watching Station 19. It's a firefighter show.
Yeah.
It's
I've always seen like previews and a little bits,
Yeah.
but I've never watched like a full episode.
so there's quite a bit. I don't want to say wokeness to it, but there's a lot of trending things that they bring
Yeah.
up in the show. We watched an episode yesterday. And that was actually a really hard episode to watch. Liv cried. She said I made fun of her for crying,
gosh.
but I just looked over and was like, "Oh my gosh, Liv!" But
You always
Which,
talk
was,
about
was-
that.
which is exactly making fun of her for crying.
but
I didn't
it was-
exactly make fun of her, but I made fun of her.
it was about veterans.
Yeah.
And that's something I've been feeling really, really strongly about lately. Because I had a conversation with someone, talking about veterans and how there's so many homeless vets and they're not getting the help that they need from the VA and all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, there needs, like, we as the American people, we need to do something. And I can't remember what I said. I said something like, we need, there needs to be a tax that goes straight to veterans health or something like that. Or we need to all just do the initiative to start helping. And they're like, well, I don't agree with that because they went over there on their own accord and their own choice. We shouldn't have to help. And I think that is the most, I don't want to say self-centered, but it really left a bitter taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the statistics, but there is a very, very, very high percentage of all the homeless people in America that are veterans that need help.
Yeah, our government has failed our veterans big time.
And it's the saddest thing because the episode focused on this one veteran and they were trying to help him as much as they could. And they were trying to get him all the help that he needed. And one incident, it just happened, and which he ended up dying at the end of the episode. Spoiler
alert.
But
thanks for that.
They it took so long for
Darn.
Spoiler.
Darn diddy darn darn.
My goodness.
it took so long for them to give him the access to the help that he was gonna get, and then something happened. He lost all his paperwork, and then he had to start completely from scratch. And it's like it's such a aggravating thing to see that the process to get any kind of help, the smallest little bit of help, is days, weeks, months, years long through a process when they don't have days.
Yeah.
They don't even have hours. They need help right now.
Right.
Yeah, which I've personally dealt with that, trying to help Dad get medicine and dealing with the VA and doing all that. So yeah,
and
it's pretty nuts.
And people think that it's like it's the old vets that went to Vietnam, or it's the people that got wounded.
Yeah.
Like I have friends that did 4 years, 6 years, and they are struggling with transitioning out of the military because because for those 4 years they live with these people and they're doing military life with these people for so long. That's all they know, and they come back and there's no one there for them.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, even when I came back from boot camp, that was a hard transition to deal with. And that was just 3 months of boot camp.
Which would be a good episode to kind of talk about, but I kind of see in between where you're coming from and where whoever it was that said, kind of, I see kind of in the middle.
And I can see that too. I understand that.
Yeah.
And
because here's what I see is people go to the military and they go and buy a brand new vehicle and they go buy a house and they go, but then they're homeless later. It's like, you got paid to do that pretty well, more than a normal job. If you go to the military, you're getting a good amount of money. So yes, do you need help when you get out? Absolutely. But you probably did a bad job at managing money also.
Yeah. And primarily I'm talking about
just healthcare side of it.
Yes.
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal.
Like mental health.
It took me an hour to pick up a prescription at the VA.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Went down to one. No, it's not. Go down here. Went down there. No, they didn't send it down. Go back here. You didn't send it down. Okay, we'll send it down. Go back there to get the paper. Come back to get it was nuts, man. I'm like, what is going on right now? It's just y'all called and said it was ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It's crazy. And I think the bad part is we find ways to help people that aren't working.
Right.
Through food stamps, through all these different programs. Can we not make some programs to help our veterans?
Yeah.
We should absolutely.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Come on. So that'd be a good episode to talk about. We have Dad on.
Yeah.
Have Dad, Mom,
good,
and have all three of y'all's perspectives on, because you were in for a little bit, Mom was in for a while, and then Dad was in the full thing. So getting a good round, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
I agree.
What else is on y'all's hearts?
And so you said earlier, that there are some people that just don't have anybody to talk to. So I'm not putting myself on any kind of pedestal or anything, but my phone number is 573-573-5555. 529-5314. Anybody that wants to call that number at any time and talk, I am there for you.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, nice pedestal. Where'd you get that from?
I hit you with a pedestal.
Hey, look
That's
at that
good,
pedestal.
Oh, that's funny. We all are awesome, man. I love y'all.
Love you too.
Okay, I was like, this is awkward.
I was taking a drink when you said
Man, my goodness.
You're getting too sappy on me.
Oh, look.
Terminator.
Too much.
Could talk about love. Love y'all.
Hey, listeners, we just want to thank you for your continued support for the Almost Brothers podcast. Do us a favor and go to your favorite platform and rate us and like us and share with everyone that you know. Thank you so much. Love you.